Listen, children, to our morbid fairy tale. This is Nosferatu. So today we have on Erin White. Welcome to the show, Erin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy you're here.
Me too.
I was telling Lindsay, Erin is yet another friend that I made in a comment section.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
This is how I keep meeting most of our guests, Erin. I think you're like the fourth or fifth one.
What
So
was the
this
comment
one,
section? I need to know.
great
Well,
question. Succession shit posting.
yes.
Okay. How long ago does that mean that was?
Um, Over a year.
Yeah, probably 2 years ago. And someone had mentioned our favorite podcast. And we were like, oh, snap, like two Black women listening to this podcast.
I
Um,
think we're the only ones listening
yeah,
to
no,
the watch.
facts. Right, right. So, yeah, we just gravitated to each other from there.
Yeah, yeah. And we've had a wonderful 2-year online relationship.
Yeah, another
Oh,
beautiful love story.
I know, right?
exactly.
I really do be falling in love in the comment sections. Y'all gotta try it. Like, you never know. Your soulmate could be out there kikiing over Succession shit posting. You don't know.
It's true.
Friends and memes. That's what the internet was made for.
Friends and memes.
So, today we're gonna dive into the 2024 version of Nosferatu. So when Aaron and I were deciding what to cover, we had a little bit of back and forth about gothic tales or horror, and just things that were on your mind as far as like current events, even. So this is what we landed on, and I'm so glad you made me rewatch this, Aaron, because I think I had my face covered for like probably 2/3 of this movie the first time I saw it.
Same,
I
same.
I
was so scared.
I did have my face covered for
Oh,
a
girl.
lot of this. It was scary.
It's
It was
scary.
scary.
It was really scary. Like the first time I saw it, I definitely went home, had to run inside the house.
Bitch, I slept with the lights on.
I did too. I did too. I was like, you're not gonna get me, not me or Locke.
Mm-mm,
So,
mm-mm.
but the more times I watch it, the less scary it becomes. So
Yes.
I'm glad we're revisiting.
Yes, it was like it calmed me down this time. I could actually focus on how fucking gorgeous it is. But we'll get into that. What's your cinephile origin story, Erin? Like I know you're a big movie girly. Like how'd you get into it?
Yeah, I definitely am. Movies have always just been a huge part of my family. They were passed down typically on my paternal side for some reason, question mark. And my dad shared movies with his dad. My mom shared movies with her dad. And so, being born an only child, my dad just kind of took me to see any and all the movies, which
Hmm.
was great, but also like I shouldn't have been at Braveheart when I was 5.
Yo,
You
talk about
know,
it.
that probably was a little traumatic.
My dad
Um,
took me to rated R movies all the time too. I was like,
right.
bro, I'm 10. I don't
Right,
care.
like this man is being stabbed in the heart, but go off. So, but outside of that, like obviously, I was a huge Home Alone fan, like watching it over and over and over again, which is still how I watch movies. But I really fell in love with movies when I saw Titanic, like so many of us
Mm.
did. I
Mm-hmm.
probably saw it 8 to 12 times in the movie theater.
I
Um,
saw it 4.
okay, see, and that was the first time I saw a movie and was like, holy shit, like this is magic. Magic happens at the movies.
Oh my God. James Cameron will do that to you because I had a
Facts.
similar reaction, but a different Cameron movie. It was T2 for me.
Ah, okay, okay.
It just blew. I think it was kind of probably my first sci-fi, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I thought these robots were real. Oh my God. Cameron
I
Cameron is a masterpiece. He is literally still to this day like a guy that makes you believe in movie magic, quote
It's so
unquote.
true. Like he's very weird and like Avatar is not my jam, but even though like I resist it, when I
Yeah,
like started watching it and it was still kind of good, it kind of took me over,
I know.
you know?
Every time I'm
So
like,
every
all
time.
right.
Avatar is so. There's so many mixed feelings, but it's like you can't deny that it's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he makes cool ass movies. I feel you, Aaron.
Yeah.
So outside of Cameron, what other genres or directors? What do you like about movies? Love
I
about movies, I should say.
when I start making a list of the movies I like, they're always like deep psychological, intense dramas. We love A Yorgos Lanthimos. David Fincher is obviously not my god, but like my demigod.
I'm a Fincher girly as well.
Anything he does, I'm ready. So Gone Girl is definitely one of my favorites. I love a period piece, so Sunset Boulevard, Brooklyn, Revolutionary Road, Talented Mr. Ripley, which of course we've bonded over. And I do have some laughs too sometimes. So every now and then I like a little happy movie. So just like the Harold and Kumar's, Clueless, Intolerable Cruelty, silly movies.
Any of those stick out to you, Lindsay? Because I know you had some reactions.
All of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, y'all have very similar taste.
Yeah. Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's our number one.
Yeah.
The psychological dramas are my jam.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me as a little girl, put a psychological drama on right now. I want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of Lindsay's favorite movies when she was younger and still is Pelican Brief. So.
LOL. That's so funny. I love that for a little girl.
I was like in middle school. I was like watching reading the Pelican Brief.
I love that. She's like, play it again.
Yo. Yeah, that was me with 7 though when I was really young too. I was
that was
way
too young. 7.
Yeah, I watched 7 when I was oh my God, I probably was 7 actually when I saw that movie. Right.
That's way too dark. I even though I love the darkness, that's when I'm like, okay, her head's in the box. That's a lot. That's a lot for me.
I don't know. I love 7. I love Silence of the Lambs. I've always been like a dark kind of movie person. I'm not big into horror though. So that's where like Nosferatu, the first watch was a little tough for me because I was like so scared I couldn't actually like focus on the I was like, I know the story, but like I was so stressed out I wasn't actually paying attention. And I feel like horror is a little harder for me as a genre. Are you generally a horror person, Erin?
Yeah, I would say so. I grew up being very afraid in general.
Same.
And like
just afraid.
Never seeing The Exorcist, but like thinking about it all the time.
Ooh. Oh my God. My dad took me to see that too. What the fuck?
Okay, then that's Banana Sandwich.
I was like 11, maybe younger.
That's a bit much, Dad. So I see why you're traumatized. But now I'm really into them and I want to see all the scary movies. So yeah, I do. I'm trying to think. We talked about The Others. That's for sure one of my favorites. And when we do get into The Innocents, I think you guys will just like see like where that story like originated from and how it's affected modern day horror, and it's really cool. So yeah, I do love a horror movie. This was scary for me too.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Were you scared? Because I was scared.
I was for sure scared. I looked at my dad. I saw it with my dad.
Oh,
and
fun.
Yeah, he was like not, totally disaffected. And I was like, he's in the shadows. He lurks in the shadows. But anyway, to each his own, I guess. Lindsay, did you think that this was Nosferatu 2024 was particularly scary?
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. It was very, very, very scary. There was like so many different aspects from like other horror movies tied in, especially with like Exorcism and The Ring. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So freaking scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any like horror movie revolving a woman is like petrifying.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It's always like tough. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it makes it more like I don't know. I'm always gonna be more sympathetic to a woman.
Yeah, it's like my internal dialogue in movie form.
Yeah.
But like, to be honest, like what are the like horror movies that follow a man? Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, wait a second.
I mean, I guess Amityville. I
All
guess. I mean,
right.
the
Mm,
man is the horror.
right.
What?
That's so
Uh,
true. Like, what are
what lies
good
Yeah.
beneath?
ones?
Well, what lies beneath? But again, he
He's the
killed his
horror.
wife.
Right.
Wow.
Not you spoiling what lies beneath.
Hey, babe, it's been 25 years. It's 25 years old. I'm well within my right. Y'all need to catch the fuck up. I'm sorry.
That's a good one too, but that one would scare the shit out of me because I would be like running a bath and I'd be like, the woman
Yes, the bathtub.
the woman he killed is in the bath.
Yeah, yeah, I had that. My parents had that one on DVD, so
Yeah,
I definitely would watch that one a lot. Ooh, I love a good suspense though. Um,
same.
so before we get further into the movie, are there any projects you want to plug? Socials where do you want to be found, and what do you want to be found for?
What a fantastic question. What do I want to be found for? And only find me for that reason
Exactly.
and nothing else.
Period. We respect boundaries here.
I love that. So yeah, anyone can find me on Instagram at Erin Elise 23. And
Hmm.
then most recently, I just wrote an article for Dazed magazine about sports culture in Atlanta, specifically soccer culture. So you can find me
Oh,
at daze.com by the time this is out.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Aaron used to work for Afropunk,
I
Lindsay.
did.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
Yeah, yeah, she's an OG journalism baddie.
I'd be writing. I'd be writing words.
She be she be writing. As discussed previously,
Oh,
we we are going to be getting into the 2024 gothic horror written and directed by Robert Eggers, who is one of my favorite working directors. I absolutely adore his movies. I actually, right before we started recording, I got my 4K of The Witch in the mail that I had
bitch!
ordered. Yeah.
I just got that last month.
Shut your mouth.
Yes, that's so funny.
Wow, look at
Yeah,
us.
love it.
He's one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you want to tell us who's in this movie, Lindsay, and where's it adapted from?
Yes. The movie is adapted from 1897 Bram Stoker's novel Dracula and also the 1922 silent film A Symphony of Horror. Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. And in the 2024 version, we've got Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, Lily Rose Depp as Ellen Hutter, Nicholas Hoult as Thomas Hutter, William Dafoe as Albin Eberhard von Franz, Emma Corrin as Anna Harding, and Aaron Taylor Johnson as Frederick Harding.
Well, how did we land on this movie, Aaron? Like, why did we end up picking this one?
Well, for me, this movie was one of the highlights of 2024. And it started off really great with Dune 2, and then this like really like chef's kiss capped it off.
You never
So
lied. Ugh.
thank you. Yes. And I had been waiting for this movie to come out for at least 5 years. Back when Anna Taylor-Joy was supposed to be the lead character. I'm really glad they got rid of her, or she couldn't take
Ooh,
the
I want to
role.
hear more of that. What was
Oh
your
yeah.
first claim?
I love, I like her. She's fine, but she's always Anna Taylor-Joy. It's always the
Mm.
eyes, and it's always that face, and it's like, okay. So I love her in The Witch.
Uh-huh.
But that's when she still had her fat pads in her cheeks,
Yeah.
which I
Oh.
know sounds so minor, but like, it just makes her like more of a person and less of like a.
Anna
I'm an
Taylor-Joy.
Thank you. Exactly. So, and obviously, I think Lily Rose Depp did fantastic in this role. So, um, yeah, and we both
She really surprised me. Yeah.
same. Girl, same. So yeah, since I think we're both Robert Edgar sluts, I think we're just inclined to really dig this movie, and it definitely lived up to the hype for me.
Same, same. I saw this on Christmas. When did I see this? Christmas Day.
Okay, yeah, right.
This is my Christmas movie for 2024.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was like I've said, I was so scared, but because I'm such an Eggers fan, as much as I did see the first time through my fingers, I was like, wow, this movie is so beautiful and
Yeah.
so grotesque.
Yeah.
And as a Fincher fan growing up, as a like someone who gravitates towards that type of work, I knew there was something about it that I was drawn to and that I needed to see again.
Mm-hmm.
Eggers doesn't miss for me. Even The Northman, I love that movie too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, I see.
oh.
I see. Yeah.
I love The Northman.
Okay,
Not
okay.
Nicole's part so much. She's,
Yeah.
it's a little tough, but yeah. I just love his style. I think we have a very similar visual palette and
Mm-hmm.
kind of taste. If I was, like a wealthy white director man, I would probably have like a mix of
I too would make this. Yeah.
yeah, I would make this, or I'd be doing what Denis Villeneuve is doing. Those are
Sure.
my guys.
Sure. And I really appreciate, even though I did not like The Northman, I still consider myself a really big fan of his work, just because of the historical realism approach that he takes and his commitment
love
to
that.
that. Yeah.
I love it.
And especially in The Witch, Lindsay, when you see it, like he's not messing around. Like this is an olden time movie. These are the olden timey words.
Yep.
And
And the
like
clothing and
and
the
the clothing.
food.
Yeah.
I
It
wonder,
feels so real.
Yeah.
like, how much of that correlates, like, how much of that he puts onto, like, the cast, because he doesn't really play around in this movie either.
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
No.
We'll get into it, but yeah, he just a little fun, not so fun fact to answer your question, Lindsay. Real rats were used
Real.
for all of those scenes. Yeah, those are real rats.
Visual rats.
Yeah. There's like no CGI in this movie.
Yeah.
Like little teeny bits here and there, but yeah, no, he's very committed to like we're doing this for real on
Oh,
screen.
I have a fun fact too, but I want to save it for later.
Oh, okay. So how many times have you seen this movie, Erin?
Oof. Great question. I would say maybe a dozen.
Wow.
I'm a repeat movie watcher, so it's not because this movie is so perfect I need to see it a dozen times. I just like, if I like a movie, I'm going to study it and watch it a lot. So I've seen it a bunch. And so I saw it in IMAX originally, and then I saw it in Dolby.
Ooh.
The Dolby was better, just FYI.
It always is. It always is.
Okay, and I didn't know that. So yeah, Dolby for sure won out. And then I purchased it, and so I've seen it at home a bunch, and the director's cut, which
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
yeah.
This is an actual art for you.
I would
That's
say
beautiful.
so. Yeah.
You study it, yeah.
I have no
relate to
life.
that. You do have a life. It's cinema.
Yeah, you're on this podcast talking about it right now. That's
exactly.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Your life is cinema.
I love that.
Cinema girl.
Exactly. So you're a big physical media person as well, it sounds like, Erin.
Hardcore as much as
Nice.
I can. I don't trust these people. I don't trust these production companies to like not take back the media. So I just love owning it and being able to watch it whenever I want, you know.
And they can't go in and change versions and
Exactly. Oh,
CGI
exactly.
things out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a weird era. But I've been the past like couple years I've been building my collection back up as well. I pretty much gave away every single DVD I owned. And then in my like early 30s I started buying them again. I was like, all right, maybe it's time to
Yeah, same.
it's time to
I
own
need to
physical
start
media.
doing that again too, because
Yeah.
why am I paying so much money to watch the same movie over and over again instead of just owning it? That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, they have taken back, like on PS2 or Xbox, they took back games that people had purchased and basically
think that was
revoked their
PlayStation,
license
yes.
for it. And it was
Yes.
like, sorry, too bad. And so I saw that. I was like, nah,
Mm-mm.
that'll never be me.
I was like, actually, I know you bought this, but you
Yeah.
don't own it anymore. It's ours,
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
sorry.
I think I need
It's
to
gone.
be reminded of what it's like to sit in front of my stack of movies and wait forever to decide which one I want
And
to
pick
watch.
one.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the first thing when you came over to my house the other day. Lindsay sat down on the floor and started like rifling
Oh,
through my
Yeah,
Blu-rays. I was like, "Yeah, bitch."
I
yeah,
missed
bitch.
that so
You might be right.
much.
Yeah, look at my plastic. I
Right. I
felt like
love that.
Sean Fennessy.
I need to get like when I move, I need to invest in a really nice movie rack and just
You
start
do.
doing that again.
I highly recommend. I got to get mine up off the floor. It's driving me fucking crazy, but yeah.
I have
Uh
binders just for the discs.
ooh.
And then
Oh,
I,
that's
I
what I did when I was younger.
yeah, yeah, the binders came back and then
Mhm.
I keep like the really nice packaging if like something's really nice, but even that's
Mhm.
like a bit much because I don't need packaging. I'm just
Yeah.
hoarding.
So you
Well,
throw it away?
no, this is part of your
I
art.
keep them.
That's your craft.
It's part of my craft, right? It's
Yeah.
like my little collection.
hmm
So what happens in this movie, Lindsay?
This movie is set in 1830s Germany, and it focuses around Ellen, an unusual young woman, and she's haunted by her past.
Why are you laughing, Lindsay?
I just know I'm gonna read directly from it.
That's fine. So do that.
um,
Don't worry.
okay. I'm gonna keep in when I laugh, though.
Okay.
Count Orlok invites her husband, Thomas, to complete a business deal that goes poorly. The deal that Thomas actually agrees to was signing Ellen over to Orlok, and they have 3 days to complete.
So what was the overall theme of this movie for you, Lindsay? Like what were some themes that you picked up on this watch?
I really honed in on the 1922 version. Honestly, I'm glad I did because the 2024 version is so scary. It's easy to lose like the plot. And the 1922 version is like, now I know the story and I can like kind of just enjoy the film more. But I think that the men in this movie are extremely naive, and like Thomas is a golden retriever and Ellen is like the hot, possessed, like mentally unwell, even in the other version. And I love it.
Yeah.
We love a mentally unwell possessed baddie.
Literally.
Yeah, I think naivety is a good one to bring up. I had a similar like reaction to, especially I'll get into my version that I watched, but especially the Keanu Reeves version of this character. Jesus Christ. I was like, bro, you gotta you gotta tighten the fuck up. Like
Like, get
Lock
it
in,
together.
Keanu.
lock in, Keanu. You're not even trying.
So funny. It's
But,
true.
yeah, very naive, I would say. I agree with that. What about you, Erin?
For the 1922 one, not that there aren't any themes, but I've never looked at it from that perspective. I always just kind of watch it as like an art piece, like different from a normal movie. It's just kind of because of the silent aspect, the fact that the colors kind of change, they flicker in and out. So I don't really take any themes from that. Maybe I should have. But
What about the
obviously,
2024 version?
the 2024 version absolutely themes of repression, of sexuality, of feminism, of social climbing, of, the rat race of what it means to be, successful in this world. Because I think that we see the Hutter character, obviously,
Rat race.
yeah, he's, shut up. That's so funny. He's obviously striving to be more like the Frederick character, someone that is of high social standing, makes more money, and in doing so, what does he lose? He loses his whole life basically, and gains nothing in return. So I think that's something really interesting to look at as well.
Yeah, like it's a classic keeping up with the Jones
Yeah,
kind of scenario where you're constantly I do like Thomas and Friedrich's relationship in this version, I think the most
yeah,
because it's so like frenemy, like it's very tense. It's like,
right.
I
Right.
know I owe you a lot of money, but
Right.
he's like, well, you do, but I'm so rich, I don't even care that you owe me
Yeah.
money. Like, it's really good, brother. Like, we're fine.
Right.
And there's like this soft kind of tension throughout the relationship of
For
uh,
sure. Right.
like
In that,
competition, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
well, in that part, I mean, it was, oh, it's fine. It's nothing to help you. But I mean, as soon as Hutter was down, it's like, get out of my house. It was
Literally
real quick.
kicked him to the street when he can
Yeah.
barely walk.
Yeah.
He was
So it's
like,
like,
get out, actually.
interesting.
I'll pay for your carriage, of
Right.
course. It's
No,
like,
he
damn,
says, I'll call you a coach.
call you a coach. Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson is so sassy in this movie. I fucking love it.
Love
It's funny.
it.
There's so many people that popped up, like William Dafoe and Aaron Taylor Johnson. I was like,
Mhm.
wow. I loved that.
I know you love Defoe. I didn't know if you knew he was in this, so I
No, I
wanted to
didn't.
surprise you. Because he doesn't show up. He doesn't show up until an hour into the movie. I was like,
Wow.
Lindsay's going to flip when she realizes he's in this.
I did. I literally did.
I
We
love him.
Defoe.
Yeah.
Big fans. Yeah, I love both of those. And I think that probably dates all the way back to the novel, which I haven't read, but I'm assuming a lot of these themes are just they're eternal.
Right.
They're eternal, much like vampires are. It's always you're looking for what somebody else has and trying to attain it.
Right.
Trying to basically like compete with people, even if it's like on a, what am I trying to say? Even if it's subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
there is like that competition there. I put for mine lust and greed.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the themes that I was picking up on, especially in the Coppola version. Oh my God, I did not know that movie was so horny.
Yeah.
All these
Wow.
movies are horny. Every single one.
Yeah, but the Coppola one is like titties galore. Like they were, they be fucking.
It's horny in a different way from this one.
It's a different type of horny.
It's it's a sexier horny, which is good because this is kind of like a gross horny.
Yes. This is a much more grotesque horny, and I feel like Coppola's version is much more like traditionally like, I don't know, like scandalous, like sexy horny.
Yeah.
I should watch that one next then.
Oh my God, Gary Oldman is so fucking hot in that movie.
Yeah.
Also, is this the one that Keanu Reeves is in?
Yes.
Okay. So
It's like cheesy 90s. Well,
oh, good.
Yeah. It's it's same but different is how I'll put it.
And you'll recognize it because he wears the scary red flesh rabbit suit. It's like an iconic suit that he wears that's very scary. It like looks like tendons basically.
Yeah, it looks like a muscular skeletal like design.
Wow.
But that's the scariest part. Yeah.
But also kind of hot. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to expose myself too much, but I don't know. So this was a first watch for you, right, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you saw it at home, unfortunately.
I did. I saw it. Well, I did see it on my projector.
Ooh, okay.
So that's something. And it was even more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My projector's right next to a window. So like watching scary movies.
The shadows
next to it. Ugh, scary.
Yeah, I would have been freaked out for sure. And Erin, you said you saw this with your dad the first time, and then you've seen it like 15 times since then.
That's correct. I do have it's a 4K digital version. So I've been watching that at home. I'm suspicious, so I'm going to buy a hard copy.
Okay.
But I've been watching that one. Yes.
I see. And I don't remember if you mentioned it, Lindsay, but this version, the Eggers version, is streaming on Peacock. There's two different versions streaming right now. It's the theatrical and the director's. So I just wanted to make sure people knew. We watched the extended one for this. So let's see. Oh, so what were your initial thoughts when you were watching or rewatching this movie? Erin, go first.
when I was rewatching the extended version or just the subsequent rewatches?
Yeah, actually, let's get into the extended version.
Okay.
What's I'm
Man,
picking up on there's some issue with the extended. Like, what am I missing?
I've got a little attitude, and that it
Yeah.
puts me makes me have a little asterisk because seeing the version where he was able to do more of whatever he wanted to do and there was no consensus makes me go, I see. Because the differences are small, but they're enough to slow down the efficiency of the movie, which
Mm-hmm.
already has some pacing issues in the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, it opens and there's a lot more dialogue with Nosferatu compared to the theatrical release, and just some very slow, lingering bits that don't really add anything to the movie. And to be honest, I had to turn it off several times while I was watching it, um, because I just couldn't get through it because he made it
Wow.
so much slower.
You felt like it dragged a lot.
I really do. And when it comes to a movie that people were criticizing again about the pacing, I see why they made him edit this shit down.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. I think the only thing that stood out to me, because this is the first time I saw the extended edition,
mhm.
there was definitely up until Willem Dafoe showed up, there was definitely a spot where I was like starting to like check my
Mhm.
clock a little bit. I was like, oh man, it did start to I didn't it wasn't overt
Mhm.
what was taking me out of it a little bit, but
Mhm.
as soon as Willem Dafoe is on screen though, I locked back in. So he did save it, yeah.
I think from there that there are less changes from the theatrical.
Curious, Erin, how many times did you see the theatrical version before you saw the director's cut for the first time?
Probably 10.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
so glad we get to have your insight.
Oh, thank you. Good. It's paying
I
off.
it's
Yeah.
there's like even watching it one time, there's
Mhm.
like a lot of repetition in the scenes,
Yeah.
which it's like I love like pieces like this, but it does
Uh-huh.
kind of lose you a little.
Right. And I think it's important. We should have checked this ahead of time. I don't remember the producer that he was working with, the executive producer, who I think did Home Alone, my favorite movie.
Yes. Oh my God. Chris Columbus, who directed
Chris
Home Alone,
Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris
produced
Columbus.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That's his name. So yeah, the director of Home Alone, Chris Columbus, I guess is a big fan of Robert Eggers and helped him get the Nosferatu production going. He's a producer
Yeah.
on this movie.
Yeah.
When that came up in the
Wow.
credits, I was like,
Yeah.
Chris Columbus?
Yeah, him and his daughter. And so when you're watching the
Wild.
different versions, you can see Chris Columbus being like, nah, like too long, shoddy. We're gonna cut these bits, and that is to the benefit of the movie.
Period. Because he is like a very underrated like
Mm-hmm.
director and editor. He knows how to keep the pace alive.
Yeah,
It's evident in his work. I think he also didn't he direct the first couple Harry Potter movies too?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that man knows what he's
Oh,
doing. Yeah, so it's like that's why it was such a shock to see his name in the credits of this, Lindsay, because we're like, this is like a well-known, like wholesome, like kids
Right.
director kind of, and it's like, damn,
Right. What was he doing up in here?
what you
well,
doing, Chris?
like the fantasy element and I guess like the filming techniques
Hmm.
were
Mm-hmm.
very, very advanced in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like the level of Harry Potter fantasy and this
Mm-hmm.
is kind of silly, but Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's not
No,
silly.
I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, Gore
I
Verbinski for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, there's like a pirates, kind of residue that I
yeah.
feel like a lot of genre movies have. Do you find that, Aaron? Like, because we're about 20, 25 years out from those movies now, so
Yeah.
those are like classic like adventure movies now. That's so crazy to think about.
The Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, I feel like he felt like a lot of the like the villains in this movie. Or, I mean, I guess specifically Count Orlok.
Oh, you're saying Orlok felt like he could have been a villain in like one of those like pirates movies, kind of.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I can see that he is definitely not as likable. He's so
like
fucking
not likable, but still somehow like, I don't know, a weird amount of like power from wisdom and age.
Ooh, yes. The ancient evil like villain kind of. I love that. Oh, Erin, I wanted to ask you. I'm pretty sure it was you. You posted a meme about Twilight. Something about Twilight and Nosferatu.
Oh, yes.
Okay, am I misremembering, or was that you?
No, that's right. That's me. Yeah. And I think the larger point of that post was just the feminine urge to be with a vampire, question mark. Like, I don't know, there's something like so romantic about like the undead nature of this, and kind of like Lindsay was saying, this old wise man
powerful
thing. Right, like I'm not sure what it is that and what's interesting about in both of those stories is that in Twilight and Nosferatu, yes, Nosferatu is taking Ellen over. Obviously, he's abusing her. But in the other versions, and like in the 1979 version, Ellen is actually meeting him like kind of where he is. And so is Bella in a way. You know how Bella, as you guys know, Edward can't hear her thoughts and he cannot permeate.
Because she has none.
Right. Oh, LOL. That part.
Because that bitch has no thoughts, but go
literally,
on.
just nothing.
Head empty.
Vibes.
But like the idea is that she, unlike any other human, he's able to meet her on this other plane. And so Nosferatu echoes that sentiment too to Ellen when he says, you're not of this world. You're not of humankind.
Yeah.
And that was kind of sexy to me, I mean,
that's hot. Honestly, that's fucking hot.
That's
I'm not gonna lie.
Manipulation tactics though, but
it for sure is.
Unfortunately sexy.
You're not like other girls.
No, literally, right.
Well, then Ellen falls into it.
Yeah,
she's like, my man Orlok told me how stupid you are.
Right, you were in his arms.
My man.
He said, like, no, it's true, but it's also true that her husband did sell her up the river for a pound of gold.
Yep,
you got to read those contracts, Thomas. You got to read that before you sign the dotted line, babe. What are we doing?
It's in another language. Oh, okay. We'll get a translator.
Okay, what does it fucking say?
Like,
exactly. Ask.
I'm tying this back to Ken immediately folding over the patriarchy and horses.
Oh, LOL.
Giant himbo vibes. Yeah. Thomas is a himbo, just like Ken.
Not golden retriever vibes. Himbo vibes.
Himbo,
there we go.
For sure.
And that super applies to Keanu's version as well. Giant himbo, just like hot dummy.
Dummy, right. Because the golden retriever would have at least heeded Ellen's warnings a little more seriously before he trampled away. He didn't. He was like, no, I got this. You just sit in the bed and wait until I come back.
All right, you dumb bitch.
right, exactly. Let me go to work.
Yeah.
So obviously
I'm about to make this big deal. You watch.
Watch. Be quiet. So yes, there's obviously something like sexual in all of these stories and a little romantic. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I meant to look it up before we started recording, but I forgot. But Anne Rice comes up a lot when it comes to, I feel like she's like the godmother of these types of stories of like toxic, vampiric, hot ass romances. But I feel like what makes Anne Rice's stories like stand out a little more is it's generally vampire on vampire.
Yeah.
Like everything going on with like Lestat and Louis and Armand and his whole thing later on, and like Akasha and her thing. Like I felt like she was more like, no, vampires belong with other vampires. Like this isn't. Y'all ain't in on this. Yeah.
Well, like with any type of vampire movie, it's like I don't want to see the human and vampire. I want to see like the two vampires getting funky.
Yeah.
I think it's
like,
more interesting,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
such
more
a
like
unknown, like what's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
it makes it more of a fantasy, maybe, and it's
Yeah.
also I feel like it's more their powers are more equally matched. It's not so it becomes a lot less predatory
Yeah.
when it's vampire on vampire.
Yeah, and when it's like a woman and a man vampire, it's like the woman always has more power.
Hell yeah, as
Or like
she should.
she's always so much more sexier.
As she should be. Period.
And I like just like in how the Anne Rice stories, like humans can appear, but they kind of like tumble into it, like they're not supposed to be there. Nobody was looking for you, type of vibes, and yeah, and
ain't
that's
nobody coming to
interesting.
see you, Otis.
Literally, so that's more interesting than the Twilight kids going to high school.
Right. I think that's kind of where like human vampire stories like lose me a little bit. Is like A, the power dynamic is so skewed, and B, like people are boring. I'm sorry, we're fucking boring. Like, what are you gonna do? Sit here and watch me like cook dinner for the 400th time? Like, what?
Yeah.
Watch me pay bills. Like,
right.
This is interesting. Like how. Sorry to cut you off. I feel like if I don't say this, I'll forget. But like, so Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey being a fanfic of Twilight. 50 Shades of Grey being so like capitalist and like CEO, big dollar. It ties so much back to like, I don't know, sex, the money, and greed.
There's definitely a class divide, and like that in the 50 Shades books. Yes, I've read them. You know, Anastasia, she is like super poor, and like so he comes in, he buys her a new car, buys her a computer, and things that like now that we're talking about it, Lindsay, it's like, oh, that's kind of even like more predatory. These were predatory on its face, but like now you're giving her things she needs to like survive.
You're buying her.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that. But I think it is definitely a prevalent theme in this version as well, and in all versions of the story of like this rich older man basically coming to like steal your girl.
Right.
And you know, it's like maybe it's I don't know much about Bram Stoker, but was he like a poor guy who was like, you know, pissed off about rich people, or was he like a rich guy who was like scared that like his girl was in love with a poor guy? Like, I don't know what the class divide was for. I'm actually gonna look that up because I'm curious.
Off the top of my head, I think Dracula in particular did not make money until he died, and that's why his wife was so adamant about them not stealing the rights for Nosferatu.
Yes, he was poor. He didn't sign for royalties on his book.
I see.
So until a significant portion was sold, so he didn't get royalties from this book until half of the original print. So he basically didn't get paid for this book very much. Wow, I did not know that. Okay, so it's more so the legacy and his family that benefited from his work.
Exactly.
Wow. Damn, and he died young too.
As they do.
You hate to see it. Okay, so that answers that question. He was like a lower class guy who was like, oh, some rich fucking guy is gonna come and steal my girl
in the night.
What happened, Lizzie?
That sounds like a generational curse. His whole lineage is cursed now.
Right.
It kind of had to be like silenced a lot, I think, in the 1922 version. Just because of, I guess, like how taboo the subject of it all was. But I loved the 2024 version and the emphasis on Ellen's character. But there's still like such an objectification to her character, especially, and honestly with all of them, but like the ongoing moaning and like the seeming of them like masturbating. It was very interesting, but I really liked it.
The moaning, I thought that was just this version as well. But the like moaning and writhing and like very like masturbatory like female performances is in the Coppola version as well. I literally had to turn down the volume a little bit because I was like, I don't want my roommate to think I'm like
Yeah, I
in
was
here
like,
in here
"Oh."
in here freaking out.
That's so funny.
Also, some of the moaning, you could tell that it was like voiced over, which I thought was a little embarrassing, but
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think just with the silent version, kind of brushing over Ellen's character a lot when the entire story is about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like watching it for the first time and not knowing anything about it and thinking it was Thomas's story, but then kind of having to find along the way, like, no, this is Ellen. This is all her.
Yeah, it was like kind of a cool misdirect because you think you're going to be following Thomas and you're going to be in the castle with him most of the time because that's how the other version I watched was. You spend a lot of time with the Thomas character. I think he's Jonathan in that movie. They all have different names, but the Keanu version, yeah, he's stuck in that castle for like I think a month, maybe longer, and you're with him a lot. And in this one, it kind of there is, like you said, Erin, there is like an extended amount of time, especially obviously in the extended version where you're in the castle with Thomas and Count Orlok, but I feel like it very quickly kind of changes back over to like what Ellen's going through, which I did like. I think they could have gone a little more Ellen focused even. I did still find it a little imbalanced, I'll say, but I think it was an improvement upon the other versions that I've seen.
Yeah. And as far as the Herzog version, the 1979 version, there isn't so much moaning. Or yeah, which is interesting. You follow the Ellen character even less. Yeah, she's
Wow.
she's there and she's spacey. She kind of passes out from time to time. Yeah, there's almost like no writhing or anything. And of course, like towards the end, at the climax of the movie, there is when they're on the bed together, it's one of the sexier times. He actually like Nosferatu like reaches, pulls her dress up, and like her legs are exposed, and it's like, oh, this is it's very like on the nose. But other than that, it was the sexuality was tamped down a little bit less, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't expect that from like
right.
A freaked out German director in the 70s, you know.
Right.
I figured that would have been like a way freakier version.
For sure.
Something about the 2024 version kind of made me seem like a lot of it could have been written while a woman was ovulating, because it's like it's so subtly horny.
Yeah, right.
Like so many of the scenes of violence, kinky as hell.
Yeah, very kinky. Maybe Robert Eggers has an ovulating like an ovulation consultation.
I'm dead.
But yeah, it definitely is like there is like a horny gremlin kind of undertone to it all, where you're just like it seems like she's, and I think again this is the way that Lily Rose Depp plays it, but she's like Ellen is very like terrified throughout this movie, but also like super fucking horny. It's like she hates what's happening to her and she's scared, but also at the same time she like loves it and is like pleased physically by it.
Yeah. Did Thomas even know what to do with her?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Babe, no, I don't know. Well, she says it. Oh my God, she had that man in shambles when she looked him in his face and was like, "You can't do what he does." I was like,
right,
Ellen.
Pipe down, Ellen.
Damn.
No, yeah, she meant that
Poor
shit.
Thomas. She meant that. She said that with her whole chest. She was like, you don't got it like Orlok got it. Like, get out of here.
Which is crazy. Just crazy.
Oh my God. She tore him to bits. But that's what he gets for leaving her and signing her away for some gold, damn it.
Right. Exactly.
Like, you didn't even fucking... don't even get...
Well, I
I
feel
still...
like Orlok at least understand the power within femininity. And Thomas
Exactly.
absolutely does not.
No, he was, like, terrified of it.
And that's what's interesting about, I think, in all the versions, especially the 79 version, is that the Orlok character is, like, he's really spellbound by her in that version, even more so than this one. There's a part where he comes into the home and is, like, talking to her, like, the first night he appears, and she's basically like, get out of here. I'm in my night clothes. And he's like, okay. And, like, slinks out of the house. It's like,
wow.
Okay. Like, right. I was like, are you good? And so he is very, like, captivated by her power. And I think that is really interesting considering he's the monster, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely none of that happening in this version. I feel like it's kind of a, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of that in Gary Oldman's performance, like a little bit. Like he's still like very predatory, but I think it seemed like it was more fun for him when she was like a little bantery, a little like sassy with him, a little like just, oh, you want culture? Like go to the museum. Like why are you talking to me? Like I think he liked that kind of back and forth a little bit. It wasn't so like oppressive, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
He was more human in that way.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's
Sorry.
Oh my God, those glasses, those blue glasses, bitch. Ugh.
You're so funny.
But this version of like Dracula or Orlok, he's so hard to look at. Like the hair and makeup on Bill Skarsgård in this movie is it's fucking horrifying. It doesn't even there's nothing recognizable about Bill pretty much except maybe his eyes.
He's got
what
that
do you think,
forehead
Erin?
too.
Yeah, after seeing it so many times, I have started to see him a little bit more. It's in the stature and like kind of in the eyes and like the face shape-ish. Like I'm like, oh, I know you're in there. But the first time it was like, this could be anybody.
Literally.
Absolutely anybody.
If I didn't know it was Bill walking into it, I'm not sure I would have been able to tell.
No idea.
The hair and makeup was really good.
Incredible.
I don't even know how they did all that. So you mentioned the exorcism scene, Ellen's exorcism scene, Lindsay. What were some of your standout scenes that we haven't already talked about, Erin?
Oh, I mean, that's my favorite scene. For sure, the drool on the floor scene. That's a great scene just to watch because it's not a complete one take. I think it's probably two, but it is two, and so like that's pretty cool to like watch Lily's performance of having to switch back and forth in between these characters. Another part, Lindsay, you were talking about like how the voiceover, they probably did some ADR that's kind of wonky when she's doing like the convulsions, because now I'm watching very closely of like the dance classes she took to be able to do them.
Yes, the back bends.
Yeah.
And her popping
her
like shoulders. Yeah.
Exactly. Her physical performance is. Yeah, go ahead.
The convulsions closer to the end when she's like, going out on Thomas. Yeah, that was like impressive.
Yeah, it's really great. The face work that she's doing, it's like, there you go.
Yeah, the way she's like pumping out her neck, and I was like, oh my gosh, Lily.
I know. Right.
Yeah, she acted her ass off in this.
She really did. I love that scene. Obviously, the carriage scene. That is when I almost leaped out of my seat in the movie theater. I was too. Like,
I was holding
smokes.
my breath.
Yeah.
Which carriage scene?
When Thomas is on his way to the castle, and then he's walking in the dark, and the way that is shot.
It's fucking gorgeous. It's the blacks against like the grays and like how crisp it looks and how you slowly like see the carriage coming towards you. Oh my God. And the way he like I noticed this time, Aaron. I didn't notice it the first time, I think,
Uh-huh.
because I was too scared. But
I know what you're gonna say.
when Thomas like gets into the carriage and
He's uh-huh.
he's like floating.
He's literally floating. Yep.
He's on like I don't know how they shot that. That is like that's movie magic to me. He's like
Yeah.
it looks like he's got to be on wheels.
I think so. I think he's probably standing on like a dolly type of thing, and they're
It's so
pushing it
beautiful.
forward. I love that. There's another part where like I think when he gets to the door and his body's just not quite animated, but he's moving, and it's like,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah, it's like he's being pulled.
Yeah, it's great.
And I love the way that Eggers is able to convey that power
Sure.
without showing it so overtly, I guess. It's
All
like
right.
how every character is slowly being like pulled or like pushed throughout the
Exactly.
movie, and the camera is moving like that too.
Yeah.
Where it's like slowly pushing in or pulling away, and you're like it puts you on edge.
For sure.
It makes you so unsettled and you feel like unstable.
So two things that are so fascinating when I watched the Herzog version, it is almost a frame for frame. The new one is almost a frame for frame remake of that version. So yeah, I was kind of like, oh snap. So even the carriage ride and when the dogs are falling behind in the original version, in that 79 version, it's in that black and white-ish looking color. It's like very blue lit. He cribbed all that from that movie, which is so interesting.
Wow. No, that makes me like it less.
Well, so I mean, well,
no.
I want to say
Aaron.
no. I want to say no. It won't make you like it less. It will actually make you appreciate it more.
I have a fun fact to tie, but it feels like more of an homage
for sure
to it. So
absolutely.
The carriage and the snow scene is also one of my favorites. And
me too.
Frozen potato flakes are used for the snow.
Because
that's the same thing that was done for the 79 version.
Oh, interesting.
I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. So he wanted to keep that like visual consistency
that
even with the
original
fake snow.
Technique.
That probably stunk. Oh my God. Wet potatoes. Ugh.
Well, the other alternative is styrofoam and salt, which they use in The Shining, and that's really painful, apparently. Like, you can't roll in that. Another thing is the castle, I'm pretty sure, is the same, despite Robert Eggers really trying not to make it the same castle. I think they just had to. So the interiors of the castle are in that same building.
The same as which version?
Of the Herzog version and the Eggers version.
Wow.
So the interiors look identical.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize how much she was influenced by the Herzog version. We're jumping around a little bit, but we can talk about it now actually. So as like a fun little bonus to this episode, Erin and I and Lindsay decided to each watch a different version of this story to compare and contrast. So I watched obviously the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola version, which is titled Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is my first watch. I really fucking like it. It's a little cheesy 90s, but I thought it was excellent. And that I rented on Amazon Prime. It's not streaming anywhere right now. And I also, as just like a little bonus, because I was doing extra credit, I watched the 2007 short Hansel and Gretel that Robert Eggers shot. I think it's his film school project. I was able to find it on like an online archive. It's like really interesting to see how much of his version of Hansel and Gretel like visually ended up being The Witch about less than 10 years later. So you can definitely see the bones of like the scary woman in the woods. That same kind of makeup is in that original version from when he was like 20 or whenever he made that. It's a really good little like director origin story. So which version did you watch, Lindsay?
I watched if you don't know already, I watched the 1922 silent film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. I really liked this, like the experience of watching a silent film. But I personally found Hutter to be much more scary than Orlok.
Mm.
And in this version, at least like with how carefree he was, especially concerning Ellen.
Mm.
Orlok,
he didn't give a shit.
yeah, he did not care. He was like,
No.
money, money, money. Stupid little boy. But Orlok kind of seemed like he was just, as a vampire does on his cute little like side quests.
It's a cute little quest.
Yeah, I loved how weirdly funny it was. Like the sped up frames, like him doing his little thing. I loved it.
Oh my god. And so where can you see the silent film version of this?
On Tubi for free.
Tubi.
Tubi.
Yeah, we love Tubi.
I love Tubi.
Tubi be having the deepest cuts sometimes. You got to just sit through a little bit of commercials, but sometimes Tubi is the only way you can watch like a lot of old movies, and it's free. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Erin, you mentioned that when you were talking about the 22 version, like it is truly like a little slice of art, and I feel that way too. Like if you want like just something black and white and like so hazy and grainy that you really have to pay attention to, I would highly recommend this version.
I agree.
The Venus flytrap, the technique and like the camera equipment of capturing that along with the actual specimen, so cool.
It's very
so
cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What did you think about like makeup, costumes, music, like anything else really stick out for you? And anything that you can connect to the 2024 version, even visually or story-wise, like what stuck out to you?
Well, they definitely seemed on plot, on the same storyline, but you got so much of what was going on with Ellen. And I don't know if it's just because of how old the movie is, but I'm assuming there's a lot of versions out there. And even when I was clicking on Tubi, like the second time I clicked back, it was different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like a bunch of different versions of Nosferatu, and also because of the rights issue, there's also sometimes it's called Dracula, sometimes it's called Nosferatu. But it's the same story. Like, there's like, I think, 50 different versions of this?
Right.
Wow.
I
really appreciate the setting, how similar the settings are in each versions. It really is just like a big circle of everyone that's a fan of the story. Like especially like the spaces that Ellen are in and with her cat.
I was going to say, the cat is in all of them.
Yeah, there's a cat in every single one. And it's like, what was the cat's name? And was it like Gretel?
It was either Greta or Gretel. I can't remember. I think Greta.
Yeah, she sounds like Musha, her meow. And when I was watching, I was like, Musha?
Aww. Which version did you watch, Erin?
I watched the 1979 Herzog version, starring Klaus Kinski. This is on Peacock, and I watched it on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yes. So just a little note about the actor who plays Nosferatu in the 79 version, Klaus Kinski, a very important and famous German actor who was a total piece of shit. Later on down the road, Herzog actually made a documentary about their relationship, and it was Klaus Kinski, my fiend, like not my friend, my fiend. It was very strange dynamic, but more to the point, he was actually accused of molesting both of his daughters in a very grotesque, long-term type of way. Very disturbing and disturbed person. One of his daughters also went on to not marry or be in a relationship with Quincy Jones, and they actually have a daughter who's a model now. So little fun fact. Um,
Whoa.
but I would be remiss if I did not mention that he is a super creep.
Yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah,
Jesus, I did not know that. I
yeah,
didn't know even that the Herzog version existed.
yeah.
Um, if I'm being honest. What would you say are some of the biggest like similarities and differences that you haven't discussed already?
Sure. So, as I did mention, it is a beat by beat, more or less, which is
Wild.
right, even down to the Herr Canuck character, just like chuckling and like the mad laughter. Even that, I was like, oh, LOL. And in the Edgar's version, when he's running away from the asylum, he's like
Yeah.
free. Even that's in the '79 version, and I was like, geez, Louise. That's
Whoa.
right. So I was like, that's kind of hilarious. So this one obviously focuses more on the Hutter character than it does Ellen, who is still in the background. She does have a little bit of a voice, but we don't know her connection to Nosferatu, if there even is one. She
Oh.
basically just warns the husband not to go, question mark.
Uh-huh.
So she stays at home with the cat and the lily, the flowers.
Hmm.
Um, he goes off. To me, some of the differences in the way that the Nosferatu character behaves is very much, he's even more dead than the 2024 version, which how
Hmm.
could that be? But he is very frozen, moves very little.
Okay.
It's very stoic, and so he'll be in the corner, just kind of standing while Hutter's, eating the bread and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, he also does not blink throughout, which is a very interesting choice.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is cool, but weird.
Yeah.
So he looks just like, if you saw someone like that, you'd be like, okay, TTYL, I gotta go. Um, Not gonna sell you the house, sir.
Yeah,
So,
actually,
yeah,
you're scaring the shit out of me. Goodbye.
right. What's wrong with your teeth? Your skin doesn't look very well. So that's all really weird. But the biggest difference to me is how the film ends and the husband's relationship to the wife, to Ellen. So, spoiler alert, when he returns on horseback or in the carriage, he doesn't want anything to do with Ellen. He's like, who is this? I don't know these people. And they basically just like put him in a chair and like pour salt around him, the old vampire and
Yeah.
salt trick.
Yep.
So once Ellen sacrifices herself for the greater good, she does all the research by herself. So instead of the Willem
Oh.
Dafoe character,
Oh, there's no
yeah,
Van Helsing in this version?
there's a Van Helsing character, there is a Renfield character, but none
Mm-hmm.
of them, they fail to help her.
Oh.
They're there, but
Okay.
she's the one that has to find the information about what to do next.
Okay. Interesting. Why do you think that change was made?
I think that it's just more of like a patriarchal little girl sit down, you don't know what you're talking about,
Mm.
whereas Robert Eggers was very intentional in making this more of the Ellen story, which
Mm-hmm.
makes the most sense to me out of all the
Mm-hmm.
versions. Um,
Yes. At
yeah,
least she has some autonomy.
right.
Yeah.
In the 1922 version, I hated that when Hutter was leaving, he was like, "Oh, somebody needs to watch and take care of my wife." Like,
Yeah,
ew.
right.
She could take care of herself.
Right.
She's not a baby.
That's a grown
But
woman,
and then they
so
like they really played into that the whole movie because someone
yeah.
did like watch after her was just so annoying to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, the patriarchy be patriarching. So
It really
that
do.
it's that's to be expected.
What can we do? I'm
What are
not
you
even
gonna do?
I'm not even sure like where Ellen gets the book from, but so just wrapping that up, he comes to
Hmm.
visit her. She's getting ready for bed. She basically dismisses him, but we know he's going to come back. So she prepares, does the whole bridal thing in the bed. Um, he dies. The sun comes up, but the Hutter character has only turned into a vampire. Now he's Nosferatu. So when the
Oh.
people exactly, so when the Renfield character and the Van Helsing character come, the wife is dead, Nosferatu's dead. Hutter is sitting behind the salt, looking all gray. His teeth are long.
Mm-hmm.
and he has a sinister look and like quality about him, and he is now the vampire character.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
that's the biggest difference from all of them. I was like, pardon? Like, who's this? Doesn't care.
Oh.
I kind of feel like that is, and maybe it was easier to like observe with the silent film, but
Hmm.
to me it kind of seemed like not only is this actually Ellen's story, but this is like also Orlok's just like completing his task as a vampire, like kind of infecting people, especially
Mm,
with the rats.
Mm-hmm.
mm, hmm.
Ooh, I love all the like plague allegory. I
Yeah,
love that
yeah.
stuff.
There's
Woo!
a great shot in this one actually of the 79 version where
Mm-hmm.
Ellen is walking through the town kind of preparing for her sacrifice, and she comes up across this dinner party, and they're like, come eat, we all have the plague, and they're eating, and then in one shot it cuts to the same image of the table, but it's covered in rats, and the
Mm.
rats have replaced the people. And that was pretty cool. I was like, oh snap, like everyone's getting eaten up. The rats are scarier in this version.
Yeah, the rats really freaked me the fuck out. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I have like a weird thing with like just like the plague in
Hmm.
general.
Hmm.
I don't know if this is like COVID trauma also, but just like the thought of like there's something spreading, you can't stop it,
Right.
and it's gonna wipe out. Like I love that Eggers went into detail on that in his version of like this is wiping out like half the city in like
Right.
a matter of days. Like
Yeah.
everybody is just sick and like puking blood and like the creepy little sores all over
Right.
people's faces and
Oh, that's
stuff.
so
It's oh my,
gross.
yeah. It just gave me shivers.
When I was in school, I did research and I
Mhm.
took some samples of soil from a nearby pond, and one of the species I found was closely related to the plague. So,
Bitch,
very cool. And I was just operating with it for like months.
bitch.
That's crazy.
I'm okay
Girl, are
though.
you okay? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, pretty
Oh
sure.
my
I wrote my
god.
report up and I'm still here standing, so.
Oh dear.
Not you. Maybe you know what? Maybe you're gonna be like not only patient zero for
Oh,
like
I've
our
got the
next.
resistance now.
You've got the resistance to our next plague because
Yeah.
like you've already exposed yourself to
Yeah,
it.
in very small amounts.
I love that.
That is fascinating. In my version, I've already talked about how it's very I think it's the most like overtly sexual.
Hmm.
There's like a lot of sex scenes. Um Gary Oldman, I think he's the most I mean out of the versions I've seen, I think he's my favorite like Dracula version or like Orlok version. So the biggest difference right off the bat is that he's very he does snap at the dinner table the same way that Orlok does in the 2024 version, but I noticed immediately how Gary Oldman's version is so much more like charming. Like
Hmm.
he's smooth, he's charming, he's very like
Suave.
inviting, suave.
Yeah.
He like in order to get Keanu like out there to make the deal, he writes him this like lovely letter like, "Oh hey, can't wait to see you, like love D." And you're just like, "Oh, oh my God.
XOXO.
XOXO D." He's he's very like warm in this
Yeah.
one and like sexy, and I felt like Keanu and Gary had really good chemistry too. It reminded me of a Devil's Advocate.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Devil's Advocate
Oh,
with
funny.
Pacino,
Uh-huh.
but just like this kind of innocent guy who's like, oh, I don't know, oh shucks. Then he gets there and it's just like orgy, orgy, orgy,
Right.
blood, blood, blood.
I'm the devil.
You know, a devil of sorts, yes. And it's like, Keanu, damn, where did this happen twice to you?
Yeah, right.
Within a 5-year period.
Strange, Keanu.
Strange. What was going on?
I do wonder if casting for Devil's Advocate had seen that. And
I bet you they did.
Yeah.
It's a very similar setup and performance, and like
Yeah.
even the things that happened to Jonathan in that movie, I was like,
Hmm.
Devil's Advocate was like 5 years after this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So another big difference I noticed is the Sadie Frost character, the best friend character. She's so different in this version. It's like a very sexual, flirty, like she
Yeah.
doesn't have children, I don't think, in this version. It's like she's not like the frumpy kind of like pregnant mom,
Mhm.
like Emma Corrin's character is. It's Emma Corrin, right?
Yeah.
I always
You
want to
you
say
didn't get any
okay.
like romantic vibes between them in that one in the Edgar's version?
I did, but it was very, very, like you said, it was very repressed. Like
Yeah. Okay.
I do still get that they were like friends.
Yeah.
They were special friends,
Yeah.
but in the 92 version it's so much more like in your face. Like
I see.
like uh they're looking at like drawings of like sexual positions together and like giggling, and they're very like touchy, and like it's much more, yeah, it's just overt,
Yeah.
much more like that kind of like 90s maximalism.
Yeah.
um Very bright colors, which I didn't really love. It kind of threw me off. Like the costuming is like bright purples and
Mhm.
oranges and reds and very like kind of brightly lit. So he
Mhm.
Coppola took away a lot of the like darkness and
Mhm.
like that deep blackness and like blue, and the shadow play was still in, um but it was done kind of in a more like special effects kind of way of like
Mhm.
the I don't know how they did it. It was a very cool like in camera trick, but like Gary Oldman would be moving one way and he had a shadow that was like moving a completely
Oh,
different way.
cool.
And it takes place in London.
Oh.
Where does yours take place? Like what Erin, what city was yours taking
It
place
is a
in?
made-up German town. I think it's still Wismar or whatever.
Okay, so yours was German as well.
Yeah,
And the original Lindsay, is that a German city as well?
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
so
mine
too.
was London.
Hmm.
I don't know
That's
why they made that
interesting.
change. Yeah, I don't know why they made that change when like the whole cast pretty much was American,
Mhm.
except for Gary Oldman
Mhm.
and like one or two other people. So everyone's doing this like awful British accents.
Oh no.
Te-
Excellent.
Uh,
Keanu,
I don't
Yeah,
know
no.
what Lily Rose Depp's actual voice is like, because she
She
has
has
so
a
much going
neutral,
on.
she's a
very
neutral
neutral.
American voice, but she
Hmm.
speaks French. She's fluent in
Yeah,
French.
Okay.
Yeah.
She had a really good British accent, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think she grew up mostly in Europe, I
Yeah.
think. So yeah, she slipped right into it. But yeah, they're all doing like pretty bad British accents. Winona Ryder is
Mhm.
the like Ellen in
Oh
this movie.
wow.
Yeah, it's baby Winona and Keanu and then Gary Oldman. And Anthony Hopkins is the Van Helsing
Oh,
in
you
my
know I
version.
love Anthony Hopkins.
He's fucking great. He is such a cool. I wanted a spin-off. I want a good Van Helsing spin-off. I'm still asking for one because the
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman one,
They did what they could, I guess. They did what they
they
could.
they they tried.
I remember. I remember the flying women vampires.
Oh my God. What was that?
Oh,
2003, 2004,
oh
but
boy.
Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing it was so cool to see him still like, I mean this is like right
Oh.
after Silence of the Lambs, so he's like young and like vibrant, and he's like such a cool character in this version. And I feel like Willem Dafoe took a lot of those same nuances and aspects for his like Van Helsing version. Um and yeah, I think the cast is my favorite part, but the brightness of it. Oh, and in my version, they decided not to kill Ellen. She doesn't die at the end.
Mm.
She kills Dracula. Um, so that was like a big change, and I think it was just because they didn't, because Winona Ryder was like so famous, they weren't trying to like,
It's a
they didn't
downer
want to.
ending.
It's a downer ending, and they didn't want to kill her off. But in the 92 version, she doesn't die. She gets like the curse lifted, and then her and Jonathan go on and have like babies and like a happy life. So
Hmm.
that was a big like, oh, spoiler alert, whatever. I'm like Van on these shows. Like I'm very
Oh,
like, yeah, fucking
yeah.
spoiler, but it's from 35 years ago. Like you got to get over it.
Sorry you missed it. Right.
Sorry you missed it.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so I liked it. I would definitely watch it. Oh, and another big similarity in my version, the music to 2024. I felt like the 92 and 24 versions had very similar soundtracks, which I loved. Like the dramatic strings and like just very like scary but sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Scary but sexy.
I would also recommend my version.
I think that's the best one from I've seen it a long time ago, but I think that's the general consensus. People enjoy that one the most.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
More than the new version?
Yeah. I think there were some hot takes on the new one. I think people didn't love the pacing.
It was very divisive, Lindsay.
Yeah, more so than I
was
thought
like-
it would be.
Me too. I after I saw it, I went on Letterboxd and I expected it to be like 4 and above and like
Yeah.
pretty well regarded, and it was like 5, 2,
Yeah.
1.5, 4.5. Like it's very.
Sometimes you have to like take what you want from Letterboxd, because
Yeah.
some of my favorite movies, which I don't know what this is about me, but the Letterboxd reviews will be awful.
Yeah, it's a hard metric to use sometimes because it's just so down to individual taste, or if you don't even know if the people fucking saw the thing they're reviewing.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
It's hard to really judge, but yeah, when Nosferatu came out, there was a big like split even amongst critics, but I don't really pay attention to critics, so
Because you are a critic.
yeah, that's why.
Precisely.
So I didn't really have many fun facts. I just saw when I was looking up the title itself of Nosferatu, I was like, what does it mean? And apparently it's a Romanian word that is often used within like the context of horror or like spooky, haunting context, and it translates to offensive or like unbearable. So I thought that was funny. I didn't know it was a real word. I thought it was like a proper name. And then, have you seen Possession, Erin?
I have not.
Me neither. I didn't have time. I was really trying to push today to get it done, but I had to clean my house. I really want to see Possession. Now that I've like been dipping my toe into horror more.
No, that's too scary for me.
Everyone says it's super, super, super scary, but I think I'm ready now.
Oh,
I think I can do it.
Report back, okay?
Okay.
I would watch it with you.
Okay. I really want to see Possession because
Oh, I'll watch it too.
okay. We can Zoom and watch it together.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so
Seriously,
cute.
we'll need to.
I can't remember what it's called, but there is some app that does it. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called because I'm old. But
Oh, I love a horror with a very beautiful woman as the
Yeah.
cast.
yeah, so Isabel Anjani in Possession, she's super beautiful, but apparently she's like the gold standard of like possessed women in film. Like any actress who is gonna do like a horror movie, they all go to that performance in that movie. As Lily Rose Depp did. She said she watched Possession and took a lot of her body contortions and like facial expressions and like the explosive emotions from that performance from Possession. So what little moments affected you about the movie, Erin? Was there any teeny touches that you wanted to point out?
Obviously the kiss at the final scene between Nosferatu and Ellen, how it was just like such a like juicy, sumptuous kiss.
It was very romantic. Yeah.
I just couldn't even. I really couldn't even. Like his breath must have been kicking.
Oh.
Like how could it not? But there's an interview with Lily Rose, and she's like, yeah, so what's his name? Which Skarsgård is this?
Bill.
She's like, yeah, working with Bill. He. And I was like, bitch, we know what that he is. Like, we know what that he is. Very attractive young man.
He's fucking hot.
Yeah, so we already know. Love
He's
that.
scary hot.
He's
Yeah.
scary hot. Right.
I love a scary hot man, though. Is he a Scorpio? He gives Scorpio.
Oh, he
Oh,
does.
that's a good question.
Yeah. I
Let's
ask
see.
because I am attracted to scary hot people, and I'm a Scorpio rising, so
He's a Leo.
Leo.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
What's
glad
his
that
rising?
means we get along good.
That I do not know. You're so funny, rising sign. Also, I really love when him and Hunter are in his when he cuts his hand with the bread and like the pan to Nosferatu's eyes, and
Hmm.
you can just see his eyes like widening.
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. He's just scary hot. I love him. He is a
Libra.
Leo, Pisces, Libra rising.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Interesting. Weird.
He gives Scorpio. I think it's probably just because he's in so many horror movies. I feel like I was supposed to write something down about Defoe and I didn't.
I was so happy to see him in this movie because it would have been criminal otherwise.
He fits in, right?
He does. The femininity of it all in this movie. And I kind
Mhm.
of feel like William Dafoe is kind of feminine.
Mm.
He's like very feminine to me, especially him, like how he is in real life.
And he's the only character that believes Helen or Ellen,
Yes.
whoever. Yeah, that's
he's
interesting.
the only character that believes Ellen, and he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he plays Van Helsing as kind of like one of the girls in this
Yeah.
movie. That's a big change from like the normal like way Van Helsing is usually played. You're right, Lindsay. That's a good pickup. He brings like a more gentle kind of like feminine aspect to
gentle.
that character. Very empathetic. He's like, stop tying her up and drugging her. Like, stop. Like, it's so sad that he
Yeah.
even had to ask that, but he's like, okay, no more ether. Like,
Yeah,
can
right.
you stop drugging this bitch? Like, I'm trying to help her.
Right.
Like, oh my God. He was her biggest like advocate and ally, I'd say, probably even over Thomas.
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. He was like, I'm trying to do everything I can to save you. And he
And just so
couldn't.
Ralph Ennison, just like, I got to shout out real quick. He plays the Knight and the Green Knight. He plays the Green Knight. Yeah,
That's
which is
right.
so creepy and scary. He's also in Game of Thrones, and he helps Theon Greyjoy take over Winterfell. And so I'll never forget
Boo.
that he betrayed the Starks.
He did. He did.
That's him.
Oh, that's right. That was him. I always forget he was on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He's so cool. I love his voice.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like, again, scary hot.
Yeah, it's true.
What was I gonna say about him? What did you say he was in before you said Game of Thrones?
In The Green Knight, he plays the titular
Oh.
character. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about The Green Knight because I
Yeah.
saw that you had listed it as one of your favorite movies.
Yeah.
What is it about that movie for you that you connect to so much? I know this is a tangent, but I'm just curious.
I love the period piece of it all. I love the spookiness of it all.
You
I
do
really,
love a spooky period piece.
I really, really, really do. And like the
Me too.
costuming in that movie and the way that it reflects art history, I think is just so cool. The story's kind of weird, but like Arthurian fiction and legend is cool. So
Yeah, I had to read that in college.
Oh, okay.
So I watched Green Knight and I was like, oh, okay.
We love Dev.
Oh my God, I love Dev. He's so hot. I really want
Yeah.
him to be the new Bond.
I would love that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen because like racism, but
Yeah.
wouldn't it be sick if that didn't exist?
I would love
Thoughts?
that. Thoughts? Anyone?
That would be great.
Great idea.
Oh my God. So like a little moment, I didn't think it was played comedically, but there's a monologue that Lily Rose Depp gives pretty early into the movie when she's talking about this fantasy she has of like marrying death and how and how and how happy she is in this fantasy of like she can smell like the rotting dead flesh and she's like intertwined in like a covenant with death and it's like she felt like this release and this like happiness, and of course it's foreshadowing the end of the movie where that literally happens. But I love that little monologue from her. And then I don't know if you've seen this, Erin, but
Mhm.
somebody overlaid that audio with the Bella's like fantasy scene before she
Oh
marries
no.
Edward.
Uh-huh.
I think it's what is that?
Oh,
Breaking
that's
Dawn?
good. Yes, and everyone's
It's
dead at the
such a
wedding.
good edit. It's
Oh
such
no,
a good
shit.
edit. It's like it's word for word. Like she's like in the
Yeah.
pile of bodies at the
Yeah.
wedding altar. Da da da. I'm like, oh shit, that's Breaking Dawn.
And Edward just looks at her like, this is
Yeah,
great. Oh
right? I
shit.
was like, yeah, this is that little like quick little like Bella horror fantasy she has in Twilight. I was like, yo, it.
Wow.
I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah.
It's chef's kiss, really. It's just such a and the vampire thing. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god. I thought that was just like a cool thing I came across on the internet one day.
That's super cool.
Right? So, oh, and my last thing I wanted to point out, I'm not gonna say the G word, but the Romani people, I loved I loved that Robert Eggers spent so much time
Uh-huh.
on that culture. It was like a nice detour on the way up to the castle when Thomas stops overnight and he meets all these like Romani wanderers.
It's in my version too, the 79 version, and there's like
Okay.
a translator there that like translates. But this one, Eggers obviously put a lot more respect on their culture and like what it is like for the people that live in these surrounding areas. So I
That's what
love
it
that.
was. It was like more respectful. It
Yeah,
wasn't like, oh, these freaky,
witchcraft.
poor, dirty people doing
Yeah,
witchcraft. It was
yeah.
like,
Let me ask you guys, what did you think or what did you make of the naked woman riding the horse and Thomas's feet being dirty? Signifying that yes, he had been out there. They were sacrificing. Who do you think was in the casket that the Romani people were staking to the ground?
I, that is such a good question. And the first time I completely missed it. And the second time I didn't have any clearer like response as to like
Uh-huh.
who that was or like
Right.
what they were doing. And I even like was reading the like translated subtitles and trying to
Mm-hmm.
pick up on words they were throwing out to see if it was like hinting at who it was or why they were doing what they were doing. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't,
No
I'm
idea.
not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure. I love the way they like led the woman in on the horse too of like
Yeah, his horse.
like, hey, come with us real quick. Can we borrow this?
Just right quick, we got a man in a casket.
There's a man. We don't want him to come back to life. So
All right. All right. Just real
could you help
quick.
us with that?
Was it not just another vampire?
But like
Or
it could be, but then it's like, how many are there? You know what I mean? It's like is I just
maybe they'll come out with another movie, but
I would yeah,
on that experience more.
on that
Yeah, you
experience.
know what? Honestly, wow, that's actually a good idea. Like if there was a whole movie
Spin-off.
of just yeah, like a whole movie of just what's happening within that like
Right.
village with all the Romani
Mhm.
people and like vampire, I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, same.
Yo,
That would actually be
I
really
would watch.
scary.
That would be really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Esmeralda, like vampire hunter.
Trademarking it right
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Please do, Lindsay, right now, here and there.
Erin, is there any other recommendations? I know you wanted to talk about the hours and oh, what was that other movie? The 60s movie you're talking to me about?
Yes, The Innocents. That's
The Innocents.
really freaky. There's not really anything that I want to. The Innocents is more The Innocents and the others are definitely more along the lines of a gothic story.
Mhm.
They do take place in Europe.
Interesting. Okay, we got some.
Yeah, I
What
want
is
to. Let me go
what is this
last.
bullshit, Lindsay?
What? A work
What
of
is this
art?
bullshit? Some other movies that I would suggest for people who enjoyed this one would be obviously Interview with the Vampire. I'm gonna recommend the movie, the AMC Plus TV show, and also the book.
Mhm.
I think they're all valid. I love all versions of this story. I've experienced all versions of the story. I've read it. I've seen the movie a million times. It was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. It says a lot, right? And And I loved the AMC Plus TV show. I just finished that last winter, or yeah, this past winter. So I'd recommend that as like a traditional vampire story. Like I said, this one is a deep, sexy romance, and but it's more so vampire on vampire. Then, and I know Lindsay, you saw that with me, right? Didn't you
Yeah.
see that at the Alamo together?
Mhm. Wait,
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire?
Mhm.
I
Tom
know.
Cruise,
Yeah,
Brad
I
Pitt.
know. We definitely saw it together. Was that at? Wait.
It must have been because it was the 30th anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was my first time seeing it.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God. So fun.
Amazing.
I love showing you movies for the first time. Another one I would recommend is a Swedish film. Very, very highly recommended. Let the Right One In.
Mm.
And that's about like young love with a vampire. I would recommend. Oh, you would really like this one, Lindsay. This was made in the year 2000. It stars Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich, and it's
Oh.
called Shadow of the Vampire. And it's about, oh, this is so meta. You're gonna love this. It's about the making of the 1922 film.
Whoa. The making
Yeah.
of, but like still in the fantasy?
It's like a behind it, not a behind the scenes. How to explain it? It's a movie about how they made Nosferatu.
It's a fiction movie about the real. So think of like, you know, how Jennifer Lopez made that documentary about the movie she made.
Yeah.
It's like that, but fiction.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would really like that one. I'm gonna recommend the German-Polish movie Possession once again, just to see that performance. And that's a recommendation for me as well. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to after this one. So, what about you, Lindsay? What you got?
This may necessarily have nothing to do with Nosferatu, but it's my favorite vampire movie. It's called Vampire's Assistant. It was also adapted from a book, but it's definitely
Mhm.
for teens.
Oh, it's
Um,
like a YA story.
What does that mean?
YA, young adult.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's about this high schooler who becomes a vampire's assistant to save his best friend. And it stars John C. Reilly as a vampire.
Oh, LOL.
Cirque du
It's
Freak. Okay, this is
so
ringing
good.
bells.
Yes.
This is ringing
Oh,
some
Cirque du
bells.
Freak. I know Cirque du
Mhm.
Freak. Yeah.
hmm
Oh
And
my
the
God.
cast is amazing.
This is a great cast. I
Yes.
have never seen this shit.
It's such a good movie.
Is it?
It
That-
is. It is
It's got
really
a
good.
5 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
I don't care.
That's
It's
besides
got
the
a
point.
2
Yeah,
out
it's
of
got
5
nothing to do
on
with
Rotten
me.
Tomatoes.
That's funny.
This is a pretty lowly rated movie, but Cirque du Freak. Wow. Yeah, I was like 22 when this came out. I did not see this shit. But if anyone is looking for a more unserious vampire movie,
Yeah,
Cirque
it's
du
very
Freak,
unserious.
the vampire's assistant,
And it's
is
got a cool spider in it.
Be serious, Lindsay. Yeah, on that note, we're wrapping it up.
And our next episode will be There Will Be Blood.
Hell yeah. Also, no, John C. Reilly's not in that one. It's like one of the few PTA. It's one of the few PTA movies that John C. Reilly isn't in. That's why I was like, and he's in. No, he's not.
That's funny.
I bet I could find that correlation if I think hard enough.
I was thinking of Gangs of New York. I was like, yeah, John C. No, because Gangs of New York, John C. Reilly, Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood,
Mm.
PTA, Magnolia, and around and around. Yeah. So thanks. Oh, Lindsay, do you want to? Yes, this is your big moment. Lindsay's
God.
gonna plug our socials for the first time.
I'll go ahead and please email us. I love getting emails. I love working during the day and looking down at my phone 10,000 times a day and then seeing that we have an email. Also,
It is the best feeling.
yeah, it makes
Are you
me
guys being
feel
sarcastic?
no.
No.
I
Oh, I
love
love
I
that.
love getting emails.
I
I
love
want to
that.
get emails. I want people to reach out to me like the podcaster that I am now.
Yeah, we love correspondence from our
Mhm.
fans.
I'm also
Aw, I
really
love it.
trying to improve my email skills, so I really need more of them.
That
You
too.
you know, even when I was at Afropunk sidebar, I'd get like messages like your article's shit, and I'd be like,
Aw.
Yeah, I am
You
a
read it?
firm believer that I love when
thanks so
people
much.
say, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Literally,
I'm a big believer in that. I'm like,
same.
okay, well, you're still giving me attention,
Yeah,
so
All
thank
right.
you.
Thanks for the interaction, the engagement.
Please also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Post Film Clarity Pod. All of our episodes are closed captioned on our YouTube channel, and our letterbox is Post Film Clarity. And we have lots of recommendations and beautiful lists that Marquita has assembled for
thank
every
you
single episode. It's
for
genius,
every episode.
genius
Thank
work.
you. Thank you. I go back after every episode and make a letterbox list of everything we talked about and related movies for each episode. So I appreciate that, Lindsay. I'm out there fighting the good fight on Letterboxd.
Mhm.
And thank you to our guest, Erin White, for coming on
Thank you for
and
having
bringing
me.
so much insight and
Mhm.
experience to this movie. I feel like you were the perfect person to have on for this because
Truly.
there's a lot of shit that we missed that I would have felt like a ding dong if we put this out in the world without having you on.
You're so funny. And when I saw it, I was like, wait, I gotta come to all these episodes. So thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you
what other movies have you seen 11 plus times?
You guys did Mona Lisa Smile without me. Do you all
Oh,
know how many times that is my I'm going to bed movie?
wow.
Erin, we already
she
had a
broke
guest
she
lined
broke
up
the
for
law.
it.
She broke the law according to Betty Ward, according to the state of Massachusetts.
We will definitely have you back on here.
Awesome.
Especially if we're doing more like we might tap you for more like period pieces,
On it.
and like slow burns. Where would you like to be followed again, Erin?
Yeah.
And where can we keep up with you?
You can find me at on Instagram at Erin Elise 23. And that's it.
Bye, honeys.